Good afternoon, traders. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2020, and the U.S. stock market is closed. Hey, I think we can call it a crash. Dow fell 1,191 points today. That's the biggest fall that it's had. No, I don't even know, but it beat the previous fall. Was 1,000 points something, but this was even worse. I'm going to show you the long-term chart here. This was the low back at the end of September, and then we've had this huge rally. You know, we made a lot of money on this, and that high, all-time high, took place a couple weeks ago. I don't have the exact date. You can see what's happened in less than a week here. And this low down here is just about the same place as that low back in at the end of September, beginning of October. So, yes, this is a crash. I think I talked yesterday or the day before some of my feelings about the coronavirus, which is driving this thing. Before I talk about our equity changes, I just want to say, I think I mentioned that my parents lived through the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918. They both got it. They survived. But I remember my father telling me, he was like 13 years old at the time. He told me that they were living in a little small town up in northern Wisconsin. Just a little town. It had a newspaper. It was probably, I think it was a weekly newspaper. But he said, even in that small town, when that weekly newspaper came out, it had 3 or 4 pages of obituaries during the Spanish flu epidemic. It was pretty terrible. And, you know, I remember that almost like I was there. And it does scare me. I don't want to minimize this coronavirus thing, but I just again want to state that in the United States we typically see 30 to 60,000 deaths a year just from the regular flu. And to date we haven't seen a single death here due to the coronavirus. And the fatality rate of the coronavirus, from the best I can determine, is about 2%. That's still not good, particularly if you're one of the 2%. And it probably is double what the normal flu rate is. Regardless, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think this thing is getting way overblown by the media, and I think it's for political purposes. And I'm not going to go into details on that. But I don't like it. But whether I like it or not, this media-driven hysteria over this thing has caused a stock market crash. And the typical investor has lost a huge amount of money. I am not the typical investor. I've made a huge amount of money on this, and I'll make a huge amount of money when it comes back. But the average guy with his 401k or whatever they call that has really been crushed by this. And, you know, probably when elections roll around, he's not going to vote for you know who. So this has had enormous impact on investing, on our politics, and hopefully not our health, but it could. And I don't want to minimize that. I just have my opinions. And I happen to think this, some of this is greatly exaggerated and unfortunate because of the damage it has done to your average investor. Okay, enough said. I'm not preaching. I just have my opinions. Yeah, I'm not the average investor. I've made a huge amount of money on this, and I'm going to show you. We closed out 2 positions today. They were kind of sucky positions. We closed those out with a net loss of $900 in a closed out positions on those two positions. We got into 11 new positions, plus we're 1 holdover, and we have 7 of those new positions are positive, 4 are negative. And get this, drum roll, we are holding positive over $67,000 positive in open trade equity going into tomorrow. And you know, we're going to be, tomorrow's the last day of February. We're going to be closer to $300,000 in profit for a single month. I mean, that's like what normally I make in a really good year. And this is just in 1 month. So we've made a bundle on what I think is kind of a fake story. But we go with the flow, and the flow has given me all these fantastic trading signals. So, don't know what to say. I want to say, in spite of the fact I think this is fake news, to be honest, I have enough food and supplies stored away that my son and I could hole up in our house for the better part of 6 or 7 months. I'm just not taking any chances, but I still think it's a phony story. Okay. So I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die rich. I'm just not going to die. Alright, let's look at a couple of these trades. I'm going to show you UVXY. That's a short position on the overall market. It's kind of the little brother of TVIX, which I'm always showing you. This is a mirror image of TVIX, except it's only about half as profitable. And back on Tuesday, we exited UVXY with about $13,000 in profit right there. That was on Tuesday. Then we got re-entered later on in the day. And then yesterday we were stopped out on that position. We got, I think that was $2,000 or something like that in a loss, maybe $3,000. And then we stayed out of it for the rest of yesterday. It gaps up this morning, and we buy those gaps. Oh boy, does that look like I'm buying in the sky up there. But that thing closed with positive almost $5,000 in open trade equity for UVXY. And the identical pattern we have in TVIX, and but double the money. We're holding about 10,000 in open trade equity in TVIX. So these positions have accounted for a lot of our money. But there's another stock that I never dreamed was going to be so important to us. I'm showing you this thing right now. This is TNXP, which is Tonix Pharmaceuticals. This is 2 days ago on Tuesday. This stock was a penny stock, trading at about 40 cents a share. 40 cents a share. Okay, yesterday this thing gaps up. I had no idea what was going on, but we buy the gaps. I bought it, and because it's so cheap, I bought over 65,000 shares of this thing. It's still not all that expensive to buy 65,000 shares when this thing is, under $1, 80 some cents or something. Even though, but that was still double what it was the day before when it was 40 some cents. I bought it when it doubled in price, buying 65,000 shares. I posted this on all the media. I said, I just bought this stock within the past 10 minutes. And if anybody saw that post and bought that stock at any time that day, several hours they could have bought that. They could have got back here. They could have gotten it at the same price I did, 45 minutes before the close. I don't know if anybody did that, but this morning this thing goes through the roof again. And by now I know what's going on. Tonix got a contract for developing a vaccine for coronavirus. Simple as that. Held up all day. And where are we at in the close? We're up $57,000 and some change. $57,000 on this former penny stock. So, what do we got? We have over $67,000 in open trade equity going in tomorrow. I'm hearing from a lot of my customers. I gave you become a customer, you get my algorithm, and most of these people have day jobs. They're not sitting in front of the computer like I am. They're just putting that algorithm and letting their computers trade for them, and they're making tons of money. And I got a lot of email today, but the one I got to read you is the freaking love you, man. Want to buy you a bottle of wine or something? God damn. And I got quite a few of those kinds of emails. I mean, this has been pretty phenomenal. And hey, I'm happy for able to help some people. And I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens with the coronavirus. But I predict that at some point in the not too distant future, somebody's going to realize that this thing just isn't as bad as they're making it out to be, and these stocks are really going to rebound. And just as we've made a ton of money going down, we're going to make a ton of money going back up. That's my opinion. This is Trader Bob signing off. See you tomorrow on Friday.